We're now at the town of Mount Pleasant in their beautiful complex building, and I'm talking with Brad Morrison, who is Director of Transportation, and we want to know all about the Johnnie Dodds project. Finally, it's going to be built. How long did it take for you and the rest of the town, the mayor and the like, to study and to design and get everything in line so that we can have this project start right now?
Actually, the project, I guess you could officially start back in 1996 when it first appeared in our transportation plan.
Is that right?
1996, so it's been on the books for a while. And really in 2005, after an update to the plan, Town Council authorized a mobility study to determine what was the final design going to be in Johnnie Dodds. So since '05, it's been very vigorous design.
And we just have to say that Mayor Holman, who is now deceased, was a part of all of that planning. He was a real go-getter.
Absolutely. A man behind the scenes who pushed more than most people will ever realize for this to happen.
Now, we've got the entirety of Highway 17 out there, yet we are focusing on Johnnie Dodds and up to the bridge. Why that span? What was the problem there?
Well, like many of the roads in Mount Pleasant, it was overcapacity. Our growth, we were seeing volumes of traffic that exceeded the capacity of the roadway. For all of 17. 17 is really the main road in what is a peninsula for the town of Mount Pleasant. So everything kind of funnels to it naturally, and we just, we realized we were going to have to improve these roads. Johnnie Dodds was significant in that it was going to take some either some interchanges or some really high capacity type intersections to address the demand. And that was the reason it was going to be a more expensive project.
Now, that's going to be a pretty busy highway when it's finished. And I'm thinking about a couple of things right now. One is the bridge over Bowman Road. It's going to be constructed. And then the pedestrian and bicycle walkways. The bridge over Bowman Road, why was that necessary? Why couldn't we just go down Johnnie Dodds, widen it, and be done with it?
Well, because it's a significant intersection with Bowman, and there's a lot of development around Bowman, and it's one of the few places where you can get from the other side of Shem Creek to Johnnie Dodds, and the only other place, of course, is up here at Houston Northcutt to do that also. So limited cross paths across Johnnie Dodds really required that specific area to have a different solution, and that's a grade separation.
There was some folks who were asking me when I brought up the subject of Bowman Road and the bridge being over that or going straight towards the bridge, the larger bridge, the Ravenel Bridge. Will there be traffic over and under, or just one level of traffic?
It's a standard urban type interchange in that 17 will ramp up and over Bowman, and then underneath Bowman will cross underneath that, so all the movements can go to ramps, and just like a standard interchange.
So those movements underneath will be along Bowman Road itself?
Yes, yes.
And that works out pretty well, I imagine, too. What's going to happen to the side roads?
All of the side roads of Johnnie Dodds, as well as the entire frontage road system, are being upgraded to become more pedestrian friendly, bicycle friendly. All the frontage roads have bicycle lanes on them and sidewalks, which they currently don't have. All of and those are marked bike lanes, so a place for the individual bicyclist. And the side streets where we intersect, where we currently have intersections, signalized intersections, will all be upgraded with turn lanes. And even some of the the frontage road intersections of the cross streets will be signalized where they currently aren't signalized.
This doesn't necessarily involve Johnnie Dodds, but I noticed that the town has been putting up soundproofing of some sort along various parts of 17.
Right.
Who gave you that idea, or why are you doing it?
Well, it's a part of
besides what we expect it to do.
Right. It's a part of the environmental impact analysis that you have to do as part of NEPA, which is something you're familiar with, the NEPA process, which is required by the federal government.
That's some mitigation going on.
Right. So because of the studies that are done, it identifies any potential issues, and you have to mitigate those issues. That was one of them. Sound was an issue on the 17 project north of there that the town is conducting and developing. And we are required to put in sound walls. We'll have 4 of them in that section. We've only built 1 so far.
Well, I tell you, they look good. And so that's nice, and I hope they work as well as they look.
Yeah. We don't do anything in Mount Pleasant that doesn't look good generally.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that. But, 17 is a pretty nice strip out there, and it's traveled by lots and lots and lots of people, both day and night. Do you think this is going to fix it? Is this going to take care of the problem, or is it going to be obsolete once the project has been completed?
No, this will fix it within our planning horizon, our time frame that we look at, which is 25 years. Which is a pretty far horizon. We will have good levels of service for the entire network that we develop. This widening, along with the other projects, is just one portion of it. We have other network improvements that, as combined together, work together to have the whole system function correctly.
I'm glad you brought that up. There are several other projects that will be going on simultaneously.
Yes, simultaneously.
Meaning at the same time.
At the exact same time.
How in the world are you going to manage that? What are the other projects?
The other projects are Bowman Road Phase 2, which is just south of Johnnie Dodds. All of that portion of Johnnie or Bowman will be widened to a 5-lane section. That will be bid earlier or later this spring. And then 17 at 526 in Hungry Neck, that will be another interchange designed there, as well as some widening out in front of Wando Crossing. So you'll basically have a 6-lane facility from the foot of the bridge up to the existing 6-lane there near the interchange. And then north of the Isle of Palms connector, from Isle of Palms connector out 5 miles to Darrell Creek Trail will be widened also. So every bit really of 17 within the town of Mount Pleasant will be widened, completed within the next 24 to 36 months.
Is Hospital Road a part of that?
Hospital Drive was a portion of the network improvement identified when the hospital relocated to its current position, and actually that was funded by the hospital, but it is a part of the overall plan, transportation plan.
From a community relations perspective, how are you going to deal with the public when they see all of these streets in disarray to them,
right,
but not necessarily so to the engineers and contractors? But all of this going on at one time, will this be an inconvenience, or have you planned this thing well?
I think we have, and I got to say that, of course, Charleston County, the half-cent sales tax, their program is very good at the public information aspect of it, and they put out a lot of information to the public on closures and anything to do with their road construction projects, Johnnie Dodds being one of them. And we work together. Our public information officer works with the county to make sure that that is as seamless as possible. In fact, we have a person assigned specifically to Johnnie Dodds and other projects to make sure that goes smoothly. And a lot of the work, most of the work will be done at night. There will be no daytime lane closures. So there will be inconvenience, but not as much as what people think. The section that we built about 4 years ago, to widen that section, very, very few complaints because of the way it was managed.
You got 4 things almost going at the same time, and there have to be some inconveniences, but certainly the public relations people are going to report out to the public what's going on there. But how long will we have to, maybe it's not fair to say endure, but how long is this going on? When do you expect to finish these projects?
The Johnnie Dodds project is supposed to be substantially complete in the fall of 2012, and by the end of 2012 complete. And our projects, the interchange project as well as the widening project the town is doing, is scheduled to be complete within 24 months of the time we approve it. So if it's late this spring, then 2013, spring of 2013 will be complete, summer at the latest.
And all of the others will probably come right behind that.
Johnnie Dodds should be done before that.
So we see the opening up and all of this going on, but we also see these projects coming to a close fairly quickly.
Right.
And the new roads, that's going to be wonderful.
It will be, and it'll be great for our commerce, great for our citizens just to be able to get around town.
And it's been great talking with you as well, Brad.
Thank you.
And we wish you well, and we're sure we're going to have great roads here in the town of Mount Pleasant in the future. We'll be right back in just a moment. The transportation half-cent sales tax involves improvements in many, many areas. But with all of these improvements, new roads, widened roads, there has to be maintenance. We're going to be talking with the South Carolina Department of Transportation former secretary about that. His name is Buck Limehouse. We'll return in just a minute.